Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast. The Aztecs serve Fresno State a big win, 83-60. The Aztecs take down Fresno State, and up next, well, it's revenge time. Utah State and New Mexico coming up. We're going to get into that and might have a special guest. So stick around. See you in 2 minutes.
The rim offensive rebound to Coleman Jones. Coleman Jones right back up with it. Fresno State out and running. Price galloping in the transition. Blocked. Back the other way. Aztecs scrap another one away. The dish in transition. Boyd to the cup. 2 points. Rips it away. Boyd patient up top. Barrow throws it down.
He can explode out of nowhere for 15 to 20 points at any given time.
Kimo Ferrari reps up a three from the corner. Four from the field. Unique stonewalled Ferrari leading the race. Bird, the recipient, up and over.
Gonna have a piece of the action.
Stolen. McKinney with the quick hands. Bird transition. Boyd up and under with the left.
Recognition and awareness from McKinney to come over, as Bird did right there on the weak side.
Another steal for the Aztecs. Boyd dishes it off. McKinney transition three. Count it. Timeout Fresno State. The avalanche starting to begin. You love the development from Boyd. Boyd tosses it up. And the Red Seas part for Farrow. Weaver, clean look for three. The three-point shooting woes continue for the Bulldogs. McKinney lobs it up. Oh, it's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Miles. Now back-to-back impressive home wins for Ryan Dutcher and company as we get the 83-60 victory over Fresno State. It was that defense that showed out.
Welcome to my gym where the crowd stays heavy. Keep the bus running because this won't take long. 4 minutes left, get the show still going.
Oh me, oh my. Welcome everybody back to another episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast. You know the deal. Before you do anything, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube, X, Twitter, or you can actually watch it on sonsofmontezuma.com. And don't forget our NIL shop where you can save 15% off all the goodies there, all the non-NIL goodies by using the promo code MONTY at checkout. Do yourself a favor. Get yourself that, what is it? Catapult U, that t-shirt before Senior Day. Senior Day is going to get here very, very soon. You want to get that white shirt. All the proceeds go towards the Mesa Foundation. It's a, a collab between us, the Mesa Foundation, and John Schaefer. So make sure you guys get that. Guys, what can we say? A big win. It's a victory Wednesday. The Aztecs take down Fresno State. The guys are going to be joining me throughout this episode. Hopefully not spend too much time. I know a lot of people are watching this New Mexico and Boise State game. We got our eyes on that game because now what do we say? 3 in a row, guys. The Aztecs 3 in a row after suffering that loss in Colorado State. We were there, but they ripped off 3 in a row. Came back home, had a, as Mike said, a come to Jesus moment, right? That halftime game against San Jose, and ever since that second half, it's a new energy, right? The vibes are there, the intensity is there, the shot selection is definitely there. And last night we saw it. I mean, just an absolute butt whooping on the Bulldogs. You always got to love that. Always love beating Fresno. We keep the old oil can. The oil can is here to stay. We're not letting it go. Okay, it's not football. I get it. But what was that last night? I mean, just everything the Aztecs wanted to get, they were getting it. And of course, it was spearheaded by Nick Boyd. I mean, I can't say enough about Nick Boyd. He has really been the catalyst to this turnaround offensively. And it's not like, we're not shooting a lot of threes, right? We definitely don't do that. The mentality, and we've said this over and over these last few episodes, the mentality of taking the ball to the rack taking it to the rim, getting in the paint, forcing the action, playing aggressive, and we're seeing the fruits of that labor, all that hard work, because it's not easy. It's not easy to get that ball down in the paint. I want to see how we do against a couple teams with some centers. But hey, man, Nick Boyd, got to take your hat off to him. What was it? 19 points last night. Another tremendous offensive output from really what's becoming the leader of this offensive team right now. 19 points, 7 assists. If you guys read the recap today on sonsofmontezuma.com, 7 assists. I mean, the assist was the name of the game. It was, what was it? 30. I'm looking at the numbers here. 20 assists on the night. When they're sharing the ball and taking wise shots, the defense is going to be there. The defense is going to be there. And boy, did they flex on them last night. But what do you do once you get that ball? They're taking wise shots. They're not letting the three. They're not falling in love with the three. And boy, it was just whatever they wanted. Like I said, whatever they wanted last night, they were getting. Of course, the intensity is always going to be first thing on that defensive side of the ball. But Nick Boyd, that's my number one right now. Obviously. Now, not far behind him, Magoon, what can you say? I mean, every single game, we're getting used to seeing the consistency, the impact he's having on both sides of the ball. As soon as that game tipped off last night, his defensive presence was just made known. We're starting to see all of these shot clock violations, the length, pushing defenders out. And he's just crazy efficient. 6 of 8 field goals last night, 2 3-pointers last night, 6 rebounds last night, 3 blocks last night. It's incredible. He's doing a little bit of everything, and it's all adding up. The confidence is growing by leaps and bounds every single game. And then what can you say about Wayne McKinney, guys? Wayne McKinney, 15 big points last night, 5 of 11 shooting, just taking on that mentality along with Nick Boyd to just muscle it in to the rim, to the rack. And what do you know? You start taking the ball to the hoop, all of a sudden your outside game starts dropping a little bit more, right? 3 of 6 3-pointers last night. He had the freedom to take them. 6 threes. He shot them and he hit 50%. So can't argue with that. But it's really great to see Wayne stepping it up. We were really, how do you say? I wasn't nervous, but this was a trap game, right? We all know what's coming up in the next 2 games. We all know. Fresno State, we've got their number, but they always make us play ugly. It's always an ugly game against these dogs. And that wasn't the case last night. It was one of the most beautiful games that we have seen in quite some time. And Wayne McKinney, it's great to see him out there being a leader off the bench. Of course, we all took notice that BJ Davis only played about 2.5 minutes. Reports were he was feeling a little ill. And, as Dutch said, the depth on this team, it's finally coming around, the depth on this team to where, they've gotten a full season almost under their belt. So the comfort of bringing in a Wayne McKinney and knowing that he's going to fit right in, knowing you could bring in a Ferrari, right? You got a Ferrari in the building. You got the keys, just turn it on. And, man, how great was he coming in early in that game, hitting that 3 and just elevating the offense that much more. So what can you say, guys? I mean, it was a beatdown. I've got some special guests joining us this evening. I hope you guys really, if you were at the game, I know you enjoyed the game because there was a lot of festivities going on at the game. We were having a ball. I want to bring in to the room. You guys know him. You guys have seen him in the show. Oh, man, I don't think I got a little soundbite for him. I got to make a little soundbite for the guy, man. Oh, I'm slipping on my game here. What's going on, Flavor Guy? How you doing, Flavor? Man, I love the hair, dude. You were rocking it last night and helped get that show there motivated and loud. How are you doing, man?
Oh, it's lagging for a sec. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I finally earned my soundbite yesterday, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to chop up the I Believe chant audio a little bit, so whenever we bring you back in, man, you got a little I Believe chant flavor going on. A little sketchy on the
all right
on
right
the video.
Yeah, on my end, it's showing the video completely frozen.
Yeah, you're a little choppy. You're a little choppy. Go ahead and try to come back in maybe in just a sec. But Flavor Guy was out there. If you guys saw him in the show, of course, every game, he's there. And yesterday was really special for him. Well, there you go. We got you. We got you now. I'm gonna bring you back in a sec because I want people to see exactly what they missed if you were not there at the game. Here's a little presentation of some sights and sounds.
Aztecs. Thank you guys. Let's go, SDSU Aztecs. Fight, fight, fight. Let's go, Aztecs. Win.
Oh man, if I ever had a job there at VA House, I would love to be the announcer, man. Pharaoh Compton, you gotta love it. What's going on, Flavor Guy? You did a great job, man. How was it meeting the real Guy Fieri and introducing him to the show?
Yeah, thank you. Well, it was amazing. I got the long story if you want the long story now, or I could tell it later. But yeah, it was amazing. He was super nice, a lot of fun.
All right, we'll get in a second. We'll get in a second because I gotta bring in here. He's chomping at the bit. Of course, you guys know him. You guys love him. Got the heads nodding. What's going on, Fiend? How are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Who let the dogs out last night?
The real dog showed up, and that was the
That's
Aztecs.
right. Right.
No puppies from the valley. No puppies from the valley.
No.
Man, I saw you there mixing it in with the Section 8 kids, all the EHOs down there getting loud opposite side of the show.
Yeah,
you brought it out. Everybody heard the whistle, man.
Yep, they invited me down there for the first half, and I guess I was good luck because we outscored them by 20 in the first half. I mean, it was a defensive clinic, and it was just fun hanging out with those guys. They're just such elite shit talkers, and they were calling their little point guard Urkel, and they were saying that as El Chino was saying that they need to do better if they want to get to the Westminster Dog Show.
No barking, as Big O would say. Man.
What a great energy that first half. I mean, they were just locked in, and it was a defensive clinic. I mean, we stomped them out the gate, and so that was a lot of fun to watch.
Out the gate, I mean, what can you say when you're talking about Fresno? Like I said, they always want to play us ugly, make it a physical game. Even though we beat them in Fresno, it was still just an ugly game. But that seems like light years away from where we're at now. What we're seeing now with this Aztecs team, Flavor Guy, jump in here, man, because what you guys are seeing there in the show, never mind the theatrics and the chants and all that stuff. I mean, what you're seeing on the court, this team is looking like they're getting ready to be that February team that Coach Dutcher is known for, getting ready for March. Last night, it was a complete game.
Yep. I mean, we finally kind of woke up the past few games. Apologies for the video problems, I guess. But we finally woke up the last few games. We had all these sketchy moments in both San Jose games, having to come back down with 17 and 20. Wyoming giving up an 8-0 run in 2 seconds at the very end to make it a 3-point and 1-point game with a few seconds. The Air Force game, I don't think I need to talk about that, but with the McKinney shot and everything. So and then again, Colorado State, which was a big game, and then we ended up losing that one to go 1-1 against them head to head. So Boise winning, dominatingly at home, and then Fresno. I know, they're generally considered an easy opponent, but winning dominatingly at home, we're starting to wake up. It's getting to be February, March, so hopefully that it works out like it always does. We've got 5 really hard games coming up. So we've got at Utah State, we've got New Mexico, and then at Wyoming. I don't want to look past either in Laramie with altitude, and I don't know how we've traveled this year. And then at UNLV when we lost to them at home, and then Nevada at home. And Nevada keeps it close with every team in the conference. I know their conference record is like 1,000 losses, but every game it's like a 1 point, overtime loss for Nevada. So I don't look past them either. But we've got 5 really hard games coming up, but I think the team's finally getting it together and everything's working great. We're slowly leaving the bubble in a good way. So
slowly leaving the bubble. Talk about bubbles. Fiend, I know time is limited, although we're getting to halftime over here with New Mexico up. Actually, they're down on Boise as they're about to get into halftime, for those of you guys keeping an eye on there. But looking at the standings, Fiend, what's realistic at this point for this Aztecs team now with 3 wins in a row under the belt? What jumps out to you? What's realistic to you when you see the standings?
I mean, I think it 2 seed in the conference tournament is possible if you win out. There's a possibility that Utah State loses, another one, which they would need to. They only have 2 losses right now. We have 4. What realistically we're probably, I would say, going to be like locked into that 3 or 4 spot, unless we just absolutely implode, and then who knows. But I don't see anyone really passing New Mexico. Even if they lose tonight, they still only have 2 losses in the conference. I mean, they'd have to lose 2 more times, 1 to us. Maybe they could tie Utah State, but I don't see us catching them for the conference side. It would be very tough at this point. I think our best hope is just either a 2 or a 3, and get to the tournament. Get that at-large bid, lock that up before the conference tournament starts. That would be ideal.
I think they could totally lose both to Boise and to us, but like you say, I think they'd still be a 1 seed in our tourney. And my main thing was not being a 4 or 5. I'd rather play one of the teams that played an earlier round. I mean, that might mean playing UNLV, and they seem to have a good matchup against us, but I'd rather not play a Colorado State Boise type team. I'd rather those guys play each other, and then I'd rather just play a first round team. What is it, 6-11 or whatever it is.
Yeah, but you might be playing UNLV at home.
Easier.
Or you might, the only thing I don't like about like that, those teams that get an extra game before we do, they get their right, and they've have their practice and shooting on those rims and getting the perspective. I think it's a little easier that second game. You get into like 3 or 4 games and it's really tiring. But that second game, I think they have the advantage, the teams that have played from the day before. So I would not want to be in that 2-3. You'd rather be 1. 4-5. We've been in that. We've seen.
Yeah, we get like
move
5
on
every year somehow, and we always make it.
And we always make it. Yeah, we always make it on. But the benefit to that is you have the earlier session, right? And so if you got to play that 8:30 game on Friday night, I mean, we're not even there yet, but if you get there and you get to 8:30, then you win that game, you got to turn around and play at 3 the next day. That's a quick turnaround. So I don't think a lot of teams really want to be in that spot where they're playing a late game. You much rather prefer, I guess, the 2 spot because you're playing the game earlier in that session. But who knows? I just want to see these guys just continue to get better and lock in and play like we did in the first half last night. It was hard to keep up that momentum in the second half. That kind of fell off defensively a little bit. I think we gave up like 37 points to Fresno State, but it's hard when you're up that much to stay kind of focused and locked in. And, so you can't really fault them that much. We still outplayed them in the second half, but that first half was where it was at. I mean, that was a really great display of Aztec basketball, tough defense, and it was wonderful to watch.
Indeed, indeed. I don't have anything to complain about. I think for all the games that we've had heartburn or indigestion over, I'm not going to go back there for this game last night. That game was a thing of beauty, the physicalness. I highlighted some of the quotes that Dutcher had, Fiend, talking about the maturity of this team, the bench and the depth of this team. Of course, BJ Davis wasn't available for most all the game. And, you bring in Ferrari, and immediately I liked bringing him in early as opposed to, in the past kind of waiting for things to need to be jump started. Brought him in early, immediately hit that three. We've talked about his spacing, his hustle, his discipline, just those little things that really kind of jumpstart the offense. And I kind of like bringing him in early just to give him a little taste, get the offense up a little bit. But we're seeing now where that depth is really coming into play. Freshmen are no longer freshmen. Of course, they're making some mistakes. Everybody, makes some mistakes. Not everybody's on at exactly the same time. But boy, seems like they're rounding into form. Utah State.
Definitely.
Do we want to talk about Utah State? You got something to add on that?
Do you want to go, Flavor Guy?
I don't have too much on them other than that I don't like them and it's going to be a real hard game. But, that's about it for me. I'll let you go, Fiend.
I mean, yeah, definitely altitude game at the Spectrum. That's always a tough place to play. We have revenge on our mind. I think these guys will have no problem getting motivated and up for that game. But will the atmosphere, how that is, and how it's a tough place to play, and will that affect them, and so we'll see, man. I do think that they will come out and play well. It's just a matter of hitting shots on the road, and hopefully they can do that. So we definitely won't be favored in that game, but hopefully we can pull one out, and steal one back from what they did to us.
Absolutely. Ask San Jose if it's an easy place to play. 36-83, 9 minutes left. Well over doubled their score, and 83 points with still 9 minutes remaining in the game. Crazy.
That is brutal.
Yeah.
What can you say? We've never been there. It's going to be a fun environment.
Oh, you guys are going?
Battle tested. Oh no, not this time around. Not this time.
Okay. It's like I don't follow your schedule too well, but that'll be interesting. They'll still be in the pack, so that'll be a fun trip someday.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of opportunities. Let's get into some of the comments and the questions, anything like that. Larry Joe says now it's time for payback at Utah State on their home court. The opportunity is there. That second seed is there for the taking if you can pull this win off on the road at altitude. We talked about Magoon a little bit in the article this morning, and that first game against Utah State, it was early, obviously. 4 early points in that game, and then was silent the rest of the game. That matchup zone, right, gave us fits. It's going to be curious to see how we can attack this time around. I mean, we had the big lead, squandered it late. That's been a game that's been in the back of their mind all season, right? So I'm looking to see how does Magoon come out? How does he perform in this game? Defensively, it feels like he's obviously got it locked down, but the foul trouble that I think we saw earlier in the conference season as well, that has subsided a lot. So I think defensively, everybody likes to talk about offense, but defensively, I think this team they're playing at a different level right now. And I just think that's gonna carry over. It's gonna travel. But we're gonna need another Magoon-like performance on the road this Saturday for sure.
Yeah, it's a tall order. As you said, defense travels, as everybody says. A little bit off topic, but what I noticed from the walk-ons is, okay, sure, the offense, they couldn't do it, right? But the defense from the walk-ons was just like any other Aztec defense, I would say elite, top of the country. So, like, obviously they couldn't get to the rim. They couldn't get, offensively, but they had a really good defense. I don't know if that just speaks to the program and Dutcher and the coaching staff, but
That's the culture.
Yeah,
That's the culture.
every single person is always elite defense. At any level, any year, freshman, sophomore, anything. Yeah, so.
And when you focus
an
on it
obligation.
so much like they do in practice, you're going to get better. That's what you're going to be
Mhm.
good at. And they're playing against, great players every day in practice. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that they would come in and there wouldn't be a huge drop off on the defensive end.
Love seeing Heidi. Cesar Gutierrez says Heidi was there under the rim. Of course, we know him to be the best offensive rebounder on the team right now. And last night he really showed it. It's great to see him progressively also getting better each and every game. That confidence, just the intensity and the smarts, really, right? Positioning, playing defense, boxing out, all that good stuff. Definitely great to see Heidi out there. Chris, he says, Fiend, was that Fiend whistling last night on the free throws?
Yep, that was me. You know it.
It's like every comment in here is like this guy with his whistling.
Yeah, I wasn't very successful last night, but did my best.
Flavor God, I'm gonna bring you back in just a moment. All right, sit tight, man. We'll see you in just another minute because, well, I think we're missing one third of the equation. We'll see. We'll have to see if somebody's there. Andrew, what's going on? He says Boyd is locked in. Got anything to say about Boyd? Fiend, this is the Boyd that I think we all were hoping to see coming from FAU.
Yeah, I mean, getting downhill for all of those points plus 7 assists, 1 turnover. I mean, he's just playing elite point guard for our team right now, and I'd say he's up there with Dent as far as the 2 best point guards in the conference.
Now, Andrew also says McKinney needs to be in the starting 5. Well, I'm not sure. I mean, at this point in time, I feel like bringing him in off the bench, kind of leading that second wave. I like it, right? Because you're continuing with Boyd being aggressive at the rim. You bring in Wayne with that same mentality. Both are, what around 6'1", 6'2", Boyd maybe, but they're both physical guys. You know what I mean? They've both got the muscle and the shoulders to just take it into the paint and go up strong and finish. So I kind of like them coming off the bench.
Yeah, they're very similar. So like kind of staggering their minutes, like when Boyd is not on the court, having Wayne in there. I mean, you can play them both at the same time, but what I really like about BJ's game is he's sort of become like our primary on-ball defender, where the best guard on the other team, he's guarding them, and he's doing a fantastic job. We didn't, get to see it obviously last night because he only played 2 minutes. He was sick, but I prefer having, I think, BJ. I don't think there's any need to shake up the lineup right now. So BJ on the floor to start, and then Wayne coming off the bench. I think that's how it should be.
Yeah. Vinny says BJ was sick. Given the minutes to McKinney and Ferrari, BJ's defense is elite and will remain a starter. So I share.
Yeah, and I think Ferrari getting all those minutes was good, especially against a team that plays zone. Because he's a good 3-point shooter, and that's what you need is some good 3-point shooting to attack his zone. We attacked it a couple different ways, but we hit some shots from the outside, and we were able to get in the paint a little bit. And so I think we had really good success against that. But yeah, having another a dead-eye 3-point shooter, which I think percentage-wise, Chemo is probably the best 3-point shooter on the team. So having that option when you need that specialist off the bench is great to have.
Oh yeah. Okay. Tin says, getting pumped for Vegas. Let's go! Exclamation! We were beating State bad before their comeback. I'm assuming he's talking about Utah State. Just have to hold them this time. Let's go. And regardless what happens Saturday against Utah State, I have a feeling in that Mountain West tournament that might be another third time against those guys. I just have a feeling it always ends up that way.
Yeah, and hopefully it ends up with an overflowing line at the Dairy Queen crying tears of shame after losing to the Aztecs again in the Mountain West tournament.
Oh man, the Dairy Queen. Well, Fiend, I'm not sure. I don't know if it might just be us too. I don't know if I see. I don't know if we see the missing link over here. This guy.
Oh, the tap
just,
is on. Hi,
oh my goodness, got to switch things up. What's going on, man? Welcome,
gentlemen.
welcome to the pod. Welcome to the pod, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Sorry we had to pry you away from your puzzle.
Which puzzle we working on tonight?
Some of us have real lives
Okay.
and real responsibilities.
Mhm.
No, the puzzle was finished the other day. I was watching the American Primeval wild show on Netflix.
Yeah, that's the
Crazy.
story of Utah State, right? BYU.
Mormons, bro. Unbelievable.
How was the puzzle of this season, working out for you, man? I mean, finally got this dominating victory over the Bulldogs, going into Logan, the Spectrum. Fiend was trying to muster up some trash talk from their coach, Utah State. I didn't see it. I didn't see the trash talk though, Fiend. Did you see it, Mike? I couldn't decipher it at all.
With Utah State?
Was that Utah State's coach, Fiend, that you were quoting?
Yeah, I don't even remember what he said, but when I reread it, I was like, okay, maybe it's not disrespectful to San Diego State. That's why I kind of ran it by you guys first, because my first inclination is to, take whatever they say as trash talk. So
Always on the defensive. You can't worry about what everybody else says, man. Right?
no, I was about ready to go on the offensive.
And what were you gonna say?
I don't know.
Well, which side are you on, Mike? Are you on the defensive or offensive side? Which one are you picking to highlight this team right now?
Well, the defense leads to the offense, right? So if the defense puts them in a hole and then we get up by X amount, that forces them to play out of their game. So with our defense, I've kind of realized that it's tough to play such a high intensity defense and then slow down for the offense. I kind of feel like when we balance those two out, then we play better. But sometimes when we just get in weird ruts, like you can see it in the game where the defensive intensity is so high, it's tough to downshift to the offense, right? So that's something I think you just got to keep practicing on and getting better at. And I think they're doing it a little bit each game. But it's like if our defense stops them and we start scoring points, it's going to put them in a spot where they have to try and keep up, and that's tough to do against our defense. I mean, Miles was all over the place. I mean, some of those steals where he just grabbed it out of the midair was ridiculous, and it's interesting to see how they've matured. I was talking earlier that like this is all speculatory and this is just me, is Nick Boyd 100% healthy now? He was healthy through the year, but he came out of the off season with a little bit of that foot thing, right? So after a certain amount of time, are you 100% healthy physically, mentally, to be like, let's go? You know what I mean? So he looks great. He's driving. He's aggressive. And he's tough to stop. What's he doing? Paper clips? What's he doing over there?
You drop your chopsticks over there, dude?
Hey, let's be here. Let's be here. Let's not be out here else. Okay.
So I have responsibilities, okay, and I have a child too.
Your dog?
A dog that was behind me that was whining, so he wanted to leave. So
he wants you, bro. He's in heat.
I'm not the only one who has family that interrupts these podcasts.
I don't know what that means. But you know what? Like, dude, it's interesting to see. I watched that Dream Team Netflix documentary today. And that was fascinating to kind of get an insight into some of the mentality of that team and how they played against all those guys at UCSD in '92. And I took some stuff from that. Like it doesn't, like, this team is interesting because physically they're as good as any team in the conference. But if you don't prepare and you don't come out ready, you can get beat by anybody. I mean, look at what's going on with San Jose State. I mean, they're getting blown out by Utah State, and they took us to the end, and they took New Mexico to the end. You know what I mean? So, like, the thing with Utah State and outside of the New Mexico game, or I'm sorry, the San Jose State game with New Mexico, is they're ready to play every game. And we are too, but they're just a little bit more thorough in their, we got to come out hot and get going and stuff like that. And we're starting to figure that out. I think that is going to help us going here towards the end of the season. So it is Fresno State. We do beat them pretty handily. These next two games are going to be interesting, man, because I want to see how they play against the top cream of the crop. How far have they come in the last month when they last played? Who did we play last? New Mexico, right at the beginning of the year. So, I mean, we've done what we've needed to do for the most part, but these two games, I mean, this is the difference between playing the 2-3 or the 4. You know what I mean? Because Colorado State's still going to win some games here, but New Mexico has 4 games left. I think Utah State has 4 games left, and we have 5. So, I mean, it would behoove us to get that 2 or 3 seed, and then we probably see that Utah State team in the semifinal.
Well, 10 says if BJ and Bird get hot again, this team is like Fiend. You can't stop them. You can only hope to contain them. All right. I don't know about all of that. I don't know about all of that. But where did I lose it? The last 2 games they played 40 minutes and shooting 54%. Thank you, Curtis Katz, for that.
It helps when you get a lot of transition buckets. You were talking about, energizing the offense from the defense. When you get turnovers, live ball turnovers, and you're able to get out in transition and get easy buckets at the other end. I mean, that is very energizing when you can get a steal and then points off of that. That really boosts not only your team, but the crowd. I mean, I think that had a big influence on the game last night. And the crowd was into it. What did they have? Like 7? They had like 12 turnovers or something like that in the first half. I don't know how many fast break points we had, but it was a lot. It seemed like a lot, and we were getting a lot of alley-oops and dunks, and that just energizes everyone that's in Viejas. That's not a Fresno State player or fan. So I think if we can continue to do that, where we turn teams over and get out in space, there's no reason why we should not be able to get out in transition more. We have really quick guards, right? Like, we have some of the quickest guards, not named Donovan Dent, in the Mountain West Conference. Like, we should be getting out in transition, I think, more, and trying to get, these easy buckets in transition, when you can, but you need steals, you need missed shots, to be able to do that when other teams are not turning the ball over, they're hitting their shots, and they're able to set their defense on the other end. So that's a big deal for us. I think if we can get more transition buckets, it's going to be good for not only offense, but the defense as well.
Talk about transition buckets. Boise just got another 3. They are up 6 coming out of the break. 49-43 over New Mexico, man. Oh, I know a lot of us want to get back to watching that game. We might just have to live stream watching that game. What do you think? I want to share the screen really quick because our buddies on X just shared with me Ski Bum. If anybody knows Ski Bum on X, he just shared with me and Schaefer and Tom Aztec, I believe. He says SDSU has moved up according to Joe Lenardi's bracketology from last 4 in to last 4 buys, if that makes any of you Aztec fans quiver with delight at seeing that possibility. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I
don't really worry about any of that stuff right now. I mean, a lot of us thought that New Mexico, with the run that they were making last year through the Mountain West tournament, even if they got to the championship game and they lost, that they were definitely going to be in the tournament. And I think a lot of people had that assumption. It's fortunate for them that they did win the Mountain West, because I think we figured out later that they were not going to get in. And so that is my concern, is that you get, these Mountain West teams on the bubble, matched up with these teams from these power conferences. And then you get bid stealers out there that happen every year. I don't think anyone's safe if you're not like on a 10 seed line, 9 seed. I don't think you're really safely in the tournament, on Selection Sunday. So we just got to continue to win. Let it take care of itself. I'm really not going to get too worried about where people have us in bracketology because a lot of them have been wrong in the past anyways.
Not just yet. Not just yet. At least. Yeah. Mike says he's lying. Okay.
No.
Come what may. The thing that's in our favor is that eighth toughest strength of schedule in non-con and going 7-2. You know, that is something that we are. That's helping us.
I think a lot of people were surprised last year when we got such a high seed. They thought we would get a little lower seed, you know, because of how we played in the Mountain West, and there were teams in the Mountain West that played better than us. And because of our out of conference schedule and the teams that we had beaten and the strength of schedule, that really mattered. And I think that helped out in our favor. But again, I'm just not going to worry what these experts say, you know, about being on the bubble. Like, you're never safe until you're in the tournament, you know. So the hope is that you win the conference tournament and you don't have to worry about it. But I don't care. Even if we win all the games, I would hope that we're, you know, safely in. Say we lose somewhere in the Mountain West tournament, but I'll still be, you know, kind of nervous that, you know, we might get left out.
Bracketology is a lot like predicting who the Pac-12 is going to add on in the expansion. Like, dude, nobody knows. People say they know. They don't know anything.
They don't know.
All right, boys. How we feeling? How we feeling?
Uh-oh. The hurricane just got home.
Choo. Is that a good time? Is that a good time?
Yeah, that might be a little. Hey, big win. We got Utah State Saturday. Root for our guys. Unfortunately, I will not be able to watch that game because Harper has a gymnastics competition at the same exact time. So,
can't even watch it on your phone?
No, I don't have it. I don't have CBS or whatever, CBS Sports Network. But we will we will be rooting for our guys while we're watching the gymnastics tonight on Saturday. So have fun, enjoy the game, go Aztecs. I'll talk to you guys later.
Sandwich?
Appreciate you, Mike. Thank you, man.
All right, later, guys.
Bye, Harper. All right, Flavor Guy, we could bring you back in here as we kind of wind things down because I want to go watch the rest of this Boise, New Mexico game, man. Flavor Guy, give us a little backstory. How did the whole thing go down? Fiend, if you need to cut out, all good. I just want to hear, how did it come about you doing the I believe chant?
Yeah, so I get a text yesterday from, you guys know Bryce, the Skull Guy, right?
Oh yeah.
And he's saying that somebody who runs the show wants to talk to me and him immediately ASAP for the game tomorrow. And I'm like, what's this about? And he's like, I have no idea. Right. So we get in a phone call and then she's like, okay, so Guy's going to be at the game. He's going to do the I believe with Justin. And here's how it's going to go. A, B, C, D, E, F, you know, right. And you are not to tell a soul. You can't tell anybody. It has to be super down low. And so Bryce and I are like, yep, easy, of course, done, you know, right. And I'm like, Herculean damn task here, right? You know, I can't tell, you know, my best friend or my friends that always do basketball or my parents. My dad's watched every game for years. My mom's a huge Guy Fieri fan, you know, right? So I can't tell anybody, so I have to keep it completely secret. And so I'm thinking, okay, so I want him to sign my shirt and then maybe my like Pop Funko, you know, right? And you know what I'd say to him or whatever else, or how to introduce him. So I get to the game, you know, I'm obviously there early. And I meet somebody else who runs the show as well, and she's saying, okay, so he's a little nervous for the chant, and let's just, you know, you'll do most of it, and he'll, you know, do it with you, maybe a little quieter. And I'm like, he's nervous. He's a TV star who's, you know, been on every show ever, you know, but okay, right, sure, I'll do it, you know. And so saying, okay, he's gonna hold the mic like this. It's a hot mic, blah blah blah. Every other, you know, detail. Have you thought a way to introduce him? And I was like, yeah, I was thinking about it last night. I was going to say legendary chef and TV star. She's like, perfect, you know, right? And I was talking to one of the guys in student section. He's like, you should say straight from Flavortown. I'm like, fine, you know, right, fine. And so I finally get to meet him there, and he, you know, he's super nice, and it's to really hear his voice, and I'm like, that's him, all right, you know, right? It's a unique enough voice. And we talk a little bit, and he's like, oh, it's, you know, so funny, you know, seeing you here. I'm like, oh, it's funny. Yeah, it's like I couldn't believe, because I heard that your son was between a few schools and he chose SDSU. And I was like, no way. What if, right? And he's like, not even between a few. He just only wanted SDSU. He had all these offers from all these schools all across the country, and he really just wanted SDSU. And I'm like, it's a great school, And he's like, yep. So he says that they're watching basketball on TV because, of course, his son goes to SDSU, and then he has to pause the TV, and he's like, what the heck? What with the shirt and the wig and the glasses? So he's sending it to his, friends or family, and he's like, look at this, I don't know the in between, but he's, there for that, I believe. And then so the plan is I'm going to do I believe that we, right? And then he's going to steal the mic at the end and then say, I believe that we will win, right? And I'm like, I love it. What a great idea, right? But I still have to, introduce him. Right?
Let's go.
Oh yeah. So I still have to introduce him. So I introduce him, like, joining me, blah blah blah, right? And he's just like waving in the background, like, hi, it's me over in the corner. And I think everybody thought that, okay, is he gonna do the I believe? And then they didn't see him, and they're like, what the heck, when I'm doing it. And then he just walks in and I believe, and everybody was just so excited. So it's a lot of fun. I got him to sign my Pop Funko or Funko Pop, whatever whatever you call it. He's like, you gotta be kidding. What is this thing? So he signed it over here. Look at me, right?
Very cool. Very cool.
And I want him to sign my shirt. And then I went up to him, like, at immediate timeout. And the security's like, no, he's busy with family. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. And later on, then he went up to me, and then he's like, hey, I wanted to give you something. And he gives me his brand is like knuckle sandwich stuff. He's like, I wanted to give this shirt. I'm like, can you sign my shirt? And he's like, I just gave you a shirt. Yeah, I'll sign your shirt. And so he's, spending forever signing it. I'm like, what's he writing? Because I can't see. It's at the corner, right? And he's just doing all of this stuff. And I only see later he has like all these, it's hard to see on camera. He has all these flames and everything with the guy. And it's so cool. I want to wear the shirt forever. And I want to frame. Everybody's like, oh, you should just frame it and get a new one. But I want to wear it. So I have the shirt under it anyway. So. Oh, man. It's so much fun. And he's really nice. He said something super nice. He was like, you represent well, He's, yeah.
Very
nice.
Cool, man. Very cool. It's always good when you meet a hero and lives up to your expectations. And he's an Aztec parent, so that's awesome.
Yep.
I think it's so cool that he was like starstruck with you, like he actually stopped.
Not as much as I was, but yeah, he's like, what the heck?
He was impressed, and what is going on here? That and it's like that super that Spider-Man meme, and
yeah, where they're pointing. Yeah, that was what somebody else said too. And when we got a pictures, the one of them was him pointing. I didn't realize it until later, and I was like, oh, what's the point? But it's too late. But it's so funny.
Cool.
Sarah from the band was mentioning, it's like, did I enter a vortex or a portal to another world? What timeline is this? Do we go through a black hole? I'm like, I don't know. I've just been dressing.
You're in Flavor Town. You're in Flavor Town now. Montezuma Mesa.
You're now in Flavor Town.
Yeah. But, well, rather have him here than on UNLV's sideline somewhere. Nah,
yeah.
All right, Flavor Guy, appreciate you telling the story, joining us. Hold off to the side. We'll bring you back in just a moment. We're going to wind things down with Fiend. Fiend, Boise's up. They're putting a little 13-point lead and playing strong. So Vinny says if Boise can pull that win off, might be 2 more quad 1 wins for us. So we'll see.
That'd be nice. I mean, that's I know that Boise really needs this game. If they want to have any hope at a large bid, they've got to win this game. And I know their coach and their point guard Cardenas were really pleading for the fans to come out, support, and pack the stands, because it is a huge game. It's a major game for them. So yeah, we'll see if they pull it out. But either way, Aztecs just got to keep winning, man. Keep this train going. I like the vibes right now. I like the energy. The grit, the toughness. We were kind of calling them out a couple of episodes ago, and
you asked for dogs.
I did.
Came out. The dogs came
Barrow
out.
Compton's playing like a dog now, man. He's out there really playing hard and running the floor and getting alley-oop, dunks and tons of energy. And I love to see it, And so we just gotta keep it going, man. Keep it going.
He's a great finisher. Just got to get him the ball in those moments. Let him go up there and play physical. He's a great finisher already. 5 o'clock Saturday. in Logan, Utah. CBS Sports Network. Saturday is going to be a busy day, man. There's the if you're not an Aztec football season ticket holder, there's a ticket holder event there at Snapdragon, I believe. So if you guys are football season ticket holders, or you know someone who is, definitely ask them to get you a ticket so you can come down and check it out. The coaching staff's gonna be there talking, get to shake some hands, get to hear their plans on what's coming up for spring. And then, of course, that night, the basketball game at 5 o'clock, pretty soon right after. We got to figure out where we're going to watch it, man. We got to figure out where we're going to watch it. I know Ailsmith and San Diego State is having their official watch party up there, so that could be an option, of course. But I'm excited for this game, man. This is a big one. Second place, that number 2 seed. It's on the line. You got to travel with that defense.
We've been looking forward to this one for a while, ever since they stole one from us at our place. So, yeah, we got to get them back, man. Cannot lose twice in a year to Utah State. We got to get them back. So, we'll see.
All right. Okay, everybody, we want to thank you guys for joining. Make sure you guys are checking out the NIL shop and our regular shop, sonsofmontezuma.com. You can save 15% off right now using the promo code MONTY. That's on non-NIL items, but you definitely want to pay full price for the NIL items. Basically, we have partnerships, so go check out all the different merch we have available. Some posters. I believe socks are coming up really soon. It's almost time for some socks. Make that March Madness run. And of course, our Catapult U shirt, our collab with the Mesa Foundation. All proceeds go to the Mesa Foundation. It's our collab with the John and Jim Show, John Schaefer. And get that white shirt for senior night. Make sure you get that one. Fiend, anything to add before we cut everybody loose and go enjoy the rest of this second half of this game?
No, man, just really glad that we got kind of an easy win. It was easy on my heart and my anxiety last night, and it was a really fun game to watch. Glad I got to see it with the hosts, and just looking forward to this stretch run here, man. We don't have many games left, so enjoy them while you got them, because this season's gonna be over pretty soon. So hopefully it lasts a little longer, but it's we've got some big games coming up.
Boise's putting a hurting on them now. Yeah, every game counts from here on out. This is the season. Going into March. Let's do it. Let's get on this run, and we'll put out there where we're gonna be watching the game. Hopefully, you can shake some hands with some folks and celebrate, watch the game with other Aztecs. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining. We'll see you guys next time. Maybe Sunday night, little recap episode of the game. San Diego State, Utah State, 5 o'clock. CBS Sports. Until next time, everybody. sonsofmontezuma.com. Go Aztecs.
Thanks for joining. Go Aztecs.